Hello, my friends. I've missed seeing you, not seeing you, but talking to you. This is Paula, and I'm going to be doing an occasional video. I can't promise what days or anything, but I am going to be trying to get some stuff in my Etsy shop for you guys to look around if you would like. And my life has just been super busy, super crazy. We've been doing a lot of remodeling, and of course, I've been dealing with both my feet being operated on, but those are getting so much better. It's amazing. But anyway, so I know that you guys have, the most watched video on my channel is the composition books. And I know they're fascinating and fun to make, and you can make them beautiful. I mean, you can do all kinds of things. You can do more than what I'm going to do today. But right before you now sits one I did a couple months ago for myself. Not for myself, but just for fun, I guess, for myself. And then I was going to put it in my Etsy shop, just haven't got it there yet. So, this is the one I made a couple months ago. And I am going to show you this. I'm going to move this blank one away. And I'm going to show you this composition book. Now, this is paper from 49 Market, I believe. I'm guessing, but I'm almost positive that's where it came from. And I just thought this was so pretty, and there was just a few pages left in my paper pad, so I decided to use it on a composition book. Now, of course, you have the black binding that comes with the book. This is the back of the cover. You know, I didn't have all the fanciest papers left over, but I had some really great ones. Up here on this corner, I did a cluster of lace. It's got like 4 layers of different laces, you know, on here. And then a little lace there, a little doily there, and then just a button. Now, I did another button inside the book, which made it kind of bulky on the back, so probably would only recommend doing it on the front of the book. Okay, and now let's go inside and see what I ended up doing. So there was this piece of bicycle paper in the kit left over. And over here on the left, it had this really fun paper left over as well. It was the B-side of one of them. And I just did a pocket right here. Has a little mailbox right here. It says letters. And then I just did took a bicycle card from the kit. Fun in the sun. Out riding your bike. And here is a floral journaling card. And I just put all those right there. It all looks so fun. Over here, I also added a 1/2 inch strip of this side of the paper that I had cut off over here. So I made a tab. On this one, I think I'm going to do the whale tail punch. And so then it flips over and you've got page 2. And on this one, I just ran it down the center. Because again, you have to remember that I'm doing this book with scraps. And all the papers came from this paper pad. So here's another one. It's page 2. And you know, it shares that same tab with the yellow stripe of one of the B-sides. Then you just and underneath here, I attached 4 sheets. So I glued 4 sheets together. So it'd make it heavier. And then we're going to thumb over until we find that seam in the middle of the book, you know, where it shows it's half. I'm going to pick up that one page before that seam, and one page after that seam and glue them together, dead center, okay? You can use your glue gun. It makes the paper a little more curly, makes it want to curl a little bit, but I just use Fabri-Tac. That's what I usually do. And here's the yellow strip. Aren't these wreaths just beautiful? Especially this time of year, huh? And a yellow tab. Over here is another bee paper. And I just took what I had. You can see here's the stripes from another piece of paper. And I just am making it. When you go and put all this together, you make it sturdier. And it's you know, more fun. So here on the last, I did 4 pages glued together also. And here's, you know, this little corner. You know how they have beautiful photo type pictures in the corners of their pages. So it's perfect for this. Graphic 49, which is one of my favorite papers. And here was the cut apart paper that they have inside their paper pads. And I just did another pocket right here. Now, this is just the solid yellow. The tab is pink because, you know, we had pink here. And then I did another little cluster right there. See it? It has 2 little pieces of lace with another rose. And then in the pocket, it's another, we have another journaling card that I put in the back. And then just a blank journaling card here. And I always put the pretty part up. Now, you can put this in here any way you want. But I kind of like it just poking out like that. Kind of triangle-like. And then a fruit jar full of beautiful flowers. And I put it right in the middle. I try to make my ephemera look like it got some attention. So, that's the end of that. I hope you guys have had a wonderful, wonderful winter and had a wonderful Christmas. I haven't talked to you that much, so this is what we're going to do today. This is going to be video number 3 on my YouTube. So you will have other ones to choose from. This one will also go in my Etsy shop. And I plan on trying to, you can keep checking back today. My husband puts them in the computer for me. And so it's when he has time. So between today and till the end of tomorrow, today's April 1st. And then it give through April 2nd till midnight. And after that, they both should be in there. But continue to look today in case he has a few minutes to do it. So this is a mead composition book. I think it's a little sturdier than the normal. I mean, it's made identical. It has a seam in the middle and all that. I've already glued all my pages. And what I do is, again, I glue 4 pages together. So I'm going to page 1. I mark it page 1 so I know it's going to get decorated. But in between page 1 and page 4, there'll be a page 2 in this section. 4 sheets glued together. Then you go to the very middle of the book. And I've already glued them right here. It gives me page 3 and page 4. Right in the middle of the composition book. And then you can go back here on the last 4 pages and glue all 4 together. And that gives you page 5 and page 6. And so, let's get started. Now, I'm trying to decide. I'm not going to do the cover till last. So, you got to stand by till the end. Now, you know, this is going to be a longer than normal video because we're going to do start to finish on it today. And so, you know, you can fast forward if you need to, or if you want to see the whole process, just keep watching. Okay, so we're going to start inside here. Now I'm gonna prop it open right there a little bit. Nope, I'm gonna get my Paula book page holder from Paula Lucas. All right, now I did not ink anything this pale pink or white. I only inked around the white edges of black paper because I don't like when we have to do pastels like that. So this, you have to corner. Now, I can't give you measurements. There's just no way, because every book, every page probably, is not the same. Now, on this inside cover on the front and the back, I'm going to get all the way down in there, and you have to just measure everything. Just get your ruler out, measure, measure, measure. The last thing you want to do is cut your corners once you've got your sides and your top and bottom correct. Now, I really wanted to use tape in this book, but it makes me nervous to try to do that. So let's do the first one. We may do some of the others. And as you can see, I write on the back, front, inside. So, you know, and then you want to turn it. Make sure you have it turned the right way when you cut and do everything. You got to measure, measure, measure. Okay? So, let's start gluing. So, I'm just turning that over. See if I can get this over here for now. Out of my way. And we're just going to glue. Now, I say to you, glue the edges. Don't over glue where it seeps out, but make sure you get your corners down good. So usually what I do is I start in a corner, and I just do like once I get my glue started here. I haven't used it today. Isn't that how it goes? I put new tips and everything on. I think it was yesterday or the day before. So since... oh goodness, we're gonna have to get a pen and poke it. It does this, you know, once in a while. You can't control what it does. So let me get a paper towel, because I took this out of my glitter glue. Okay, let me put that back. Okay, now we should start. Go in your corner, or in your inside of your spine. The inside of the spine, you want to go about like this. You get to this corner, you just want to kind of push it up in the corner a little bit. Then get back on a steady line so you don't have seepage. You get to the round corner, you kind of want to do a round. You know, make sure you get around that corner right there. And then you get back on your normal. And I can tell you right now, and then I usually do like a big circle too. I cannot do a straight line for anything, it seems like, anymore. That's what happens when you grow up. I guess that's what I've done. I've grown up. I am now 65, which I turned 65 in December. Can't really believe that, but it's true. And my husband just turned 70. So that was on March the 27th. So, yeah. We've been, I'm just kind of going to do an X like this on this. Kind of get it together that way. And trying not to waste any more glue than possible. So now we know this is going to go on the inside of this cover. It's hard to use double-sided tape on something like this. Now what I do is I keep this up for a minute, kind of attach it. Now the reason I like to use Fabri-Tac is you have some time to work with it. Make sure it's, you know, right where you want it, whether it's one end or the other. That's not perfect. And then I just kind of measure with my fingers and make sure, and then I'll lay it down. and really push on it and make sure everything seals down. Now, you know, glue, sometimes you can have a little bit of a ripple, but I haven't seemed to have that much trouble with my composition books. Now, see, you can see here, it's showing a little bit of, man, you know, you miss stuff. You don't realize what you miss. You just don't realize what you miss. So, I'm going to take my scissors and see, by turning my page in, and see if I can cut that a little bit shorter. You know, because you don't want it to show. And it does you do run the risk of your edges not being perfect. Unless you're really perfect at doing this sort of thing, which I'm not. And when I feel myself cutting into the actual book, then you know you better go from a different angle. So I'm going to stand it up. What's causing me problems is this spine is wanting to lift or not let me get in there. So I'm going to go from this direction. As my mom used to say, where there's a way, or where there's will, there's a way. So I don't let anything defeat me too soon. So I'm getting my corners. This will probably be the only one that I got a little long. And I didn't realize it was even a little long. So come on. It just is not that easy to do. So really measure better than I do. Do what I say, don't do what I do. Because I'm not perfect, by no means. But I sure have fun doing any kind of craft. I do all kinds of stuff. I just got a new sewing machine about, let's see, maybe 5 months ago, and I really haven't used it. But I've gone through it, and I've learned a little bit about it. So I'm going to quilt some pillows for my living room. We got new furniture and a new rug. So I thought, well, I'll just need to get some new pillows in here. So that's what I'm doing. There's a lot of, if you've never made a pillow, there is also a lot of kits out there. Now see, this is not going to look beautiful. I can already tell. See, it's kind of shabby. So I'm going to come in here, now that I'm close enough, and get on this. And just feel my way through the cut. If you're not sure about cutting it, just don't cut it. But I do this a lot with a lot of different kinds of projects, you know, when your measurement's just slightly off, or please don't look at my fingernails today. I was supposed to go yesterday and had to cancel. So I've got ink all over them and fingernail polish that hasn't come off yet. Toes look the same way. Okay, so that's better on that one. And I think this side one will do better too. I'm going to cut it real fast. And then I don't have to worry with it once the paper's on. You might still have a little bit of an edge. This is the way I recommend it, is to flip it over. Try to go straight down the edge without cutting into your book. And if you go slow, or as slow as you can. I think it was just that one end that was hanging over. It was. So see, that wasn't so bad. Yeah, let me get this little niche right here. And yeah, so let's get all these curly keys out of the way. Yeah, so that got it upside down. Don't do that, because that'll get you in trouble later. So that is the inside cover. So now we're going to go over and work on page 2. And so on and so forth. I hope you guys have all been great. Listen, leave me some comments. Tell me how you've been, what you've been up to. I love reading your comments. Okay. A lot has advanced in my crafting area in the room. So as you can see here, I pre-cut everything. It took me 8 hours, a full day to prep everything. That's why I did it, because I didn't want you to have to sit and wait. There's no measurements. You have to just get in there and measure your book each time, because they can be slightly different. Now, if you're doing page 1 and then you're going to flip it over and do page 2, you're more likely, to fit. But try your first page on the other side before you. Now, see, like on this one, I made a mistake because I had my paper upside down. So I had it like this. What am I on? Which page am I on? Sometimes you just don't know. I don't think this is page 5. No wonder it didn't fit, right? Let me get my act together here. I was wondering where my pocket was. Let's go over here to page 5 and hope and pray it fits. If it don't, when we get to page 5, then we'll worry about it. Let me get this in the right place. So, I'll put it right there. I've kind of got them laid out in little stacks so that this sort of thing doesn't happen. So as you can see, this has a lot going on. So this one, what my goal is to get it to the end. If I have plenty of paper, if I don't, I just do it down the middle. And you have these 2 red lines that will tell you, I go just over that red line. And then if I have a little extra over, it's okay, because I cover it with a strip. So you can see there that I have this much room. But on that, I'm going to actually put a black strip like that. I like to cover up those raw edges so it looks like you did it on purpose. Okay. All right. It's already gluing on me again. It's already getting plugged up again. You know how it is. All right, so I'm doing the same thing here. And I'm sorry, if I could have pre-done this, I would have. I guess I could have gone on and filled in everything except the pockets, but that takes away from the fun of the video, right? And so the only place I get over anxious of making sure I have glue is around the edges and the corners, like I said before. And so, and on these round ones, I just kind of do a little circle of glue. Circle of the love page. I had this little jacket on over my clothes because it's a nippy up in my room. Although yesterday it was warm, and I think something might be starting on my air conditioner. It's a 5-ton air conditioner up on this. It's on the top level of it. We have 3 stories, so it's way too big for me and my husband. But when our family comes, it's perfect. We've got, it actually has 5 bedrooms and a common area, or 3 bedrooms and a common area on the upstairs. But we, in the common area, we have a couch and a recliner and a coffee table and end tables and a TV there for all the kids. But do they want to be up there? No, they want to be with all the adults downstairs. Of course, most of them. My oldest grandson is now an adult. He is in college. That's Elliot. I'm so proud of him. And so this is his 2nd year at junior college, but he wasn't quite sure about what he wanted to do when he started. He just knew he wanted to be able to speak Japanese. I know. I don't know why. It's one of the hardest languages. And but he wanted to learn. He was very interested in doing that, and he's interested in he tells me he's going to live there, and I said, no, you're not. He just looks at me and grins. He goes, Grammy, and I said, no, you're not. You're not going anywhere. You just think you are. Okay, I missed one. I didn't ink around this black, so let me do that real quick, which you can see is all over my hands too. Yeah, it has a big old white edge. You know, not all paper. This is Mind's Eye paper. It's an old paper pad that I had that was just really pretty, and I hadn't done anything with it. I mean, it really didn't fit for like doing scrapbooking for the kids, but it kind of got crammed back behind everything else in my shelf that has all my paper pads. My poor shelf is giving out on my... They're wanting to fall down practically, so my husband had to get in here and work on them to get them, you know, in a good place. So these are those little frosting containers with a frosting tip on them to, and I just bought them at Michael's in the frosting area, you know, where the candy and all the baking stuff is at Michael's. Now, the tip and bottle all comes together. Well, crud. You get two. You get two of, 2 tips, 2 bottles. It comes just all put together, but you don't get the cap. And so, if you keep the cap on, I think it doesn't plug as bad as it could. So, you saw what I just did. I dropped my strip. Isn't it fun how you... or isn't it fun? It's not really fun. I'm going to get my adhesive strip out here. It's not fun, but I try to let it just dry a tiny bit so it's not so liquidy, and then I just rub off what I can since it dropped across the whole page. And then I'll go over it a little bit and make sure I got everything. I know you guys are thinking, Paula, you have always had trouble with the glue. Well, I've been trying to improve on that, guys. And I know you're not all guys out there. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant ladies and gents, if there's any. It's the funniest thing, what bothers people, but people don't like to be called guys. I don't, you know, we've always called anyone guys. All my grandkids are called guys. Anyway, so you want to get any glue off the top for sure. And you shouldn't have any glue around the edges. You know, this should all be glue-free. Make sure, because it will glue to the next page if you don't. Looks like we have a little bit on that 3rd page that's loose a little bit. So I'm going to give it a little bit of glue. There we go. Okay. All right. So see how quick that was? It was like bang. So I think what we'll do is put on the next page, which is page 2, and then we'll look at seeing what else needs to be done to these 3 before we move on, like a pocket or whatever. Okay, so here we go. The next page is, let me move this because this goes with that first page. It's page 2. Right here is page 2. So it's got this beautiful floral in this. It's really like a tangerine kind of, but it does match everything else in the book. And so it goes right over here. Can't keep my glue or anything under control. Excuse me while I slip off my jacket. It's getting a little bit warm. It shouldn't be, but I think my air conditioner is, don't even want to think about it. My air conditioner, I don't think it's cooling like it should. Okay, come on. Okay, so the thing you want to do is make sure you get these rounded corners up. And you've already played with these when you were measuring, so you kind of want to just double check, see what you're dealing with, okay? And make sure you're in the upright position. And continue. So I'm hoping we can get these on pretty quick. I don't think it'll be overly long once we get them up here. So I'm gonna, just FYI, I'm going to try my very best to get more books and so forth in my shop. That's on my to-do list for sure. And all of a sudden my glue decides it doesn't want to come out as fast or as much. Sometimes it'll come out just a little tiny bit, and it will dry by the time you get around to the next area. So let me see, like that one, it looks like it's on there, but it's really kind of dry. This is when your hands start wearing out, when it wants to be cantankerous. Okay, come on. Might have to get another bottle out. The only downside to these bottles is when it uses about an inch to inch and a half from the top, when it gets down to about that level, it is harder to squeeze. And you just have to, not harder to squeeze as much as, you just have to squeeze it just right, you know? So, yeah. Okay, here we go. Try to get over here. Let me make sure we're in the right, in there where you guys can see. I never know. It's so hard to get your camera in the right place, especially when you hadn't been on it in a while. Okay, so separate those pages and make sure you got everything on here just like you want it. Now, I've been known to not have everything on there perfect and have to pull it off and get it straightened up. Like right here, it's not as straight as I had planned. So here you go. This is what I do. I pull it off, bring it back over, and get it. Because what's important to me is to cover these round corners and sides and top just right. Well, we may have to approach this differently. Let me get my, it's really hard when you got this other side of the book that doesn't cooperate. Gets in your way. So here we go. Line it up. Line it up. I should have done it this way to start with. Well, I still didn't get it perfect. But it's close. And I think everybody that makes these books have the same problem. It's not anything new. But I can go back if I want. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See this right here? That little bit of white, that's part of your paper. So, you can go back and trim it if it bothers you. It doesn't bother me. So, I'm not going to do that. It just takes us forever to do that sort of thing. So, now we're going to glue this strip down, and then we're going to back up and make a pocket. Now, again, I also already cut everything out for pockets, and I did any inking that needs to be done. Only ink the black items around the edges. That's all you got to do. Because they really cut a white line bad around them. At least this paper does. And, you know, every paper is a little bit different. If you got double-sided paper, you probably won't have as much problems doing that. But, yeah. You just never know. Anyway, I was talking about my grandson. He is in his, let's see, his 3rd year. And he has not gotten near he'll be there for a while because he didn't take a lot the first 2. The first semester, he only took 2 classes. And that's because his parents made him. He didn't really want to go. He's like, I don't want to go to college. And then his junior and senior year at the local junior college here, or not here, I'm in Branson, but in Tulsa, Oklahoma, he has the opportunity to go his junior and senior year and get some credit courses. And he didn't do it the first, or did he do it the first? No, he didn't do it his junior year, but he did it his senior year. And he had to, and then when he was done with the senior, he'd go get his SATs and all those kind of tests taken care of, and to be a full-time student if he wanted to be. Well, I don't know if he's a full-time student, but he, there. See, we got this all. But I will tell you this quickly. He's in Japan number 3. And next year he'll have number 4. Now, this is his part of his degree that he wants to do. And then he wants to go to Japan and go to college when it's time to take number 5. We'll see. But anyway, I would love for him to be able to do something like that, but I don't want him to be by himself over there. Because, you know, my son homeschooled the kids, and so, you know, he's not wild one little bit. So I don't think we have to worry about that. But I think he's probably like most boys his age. He really wants to work in programming. So I don't know what'll end up happening, but he's taken a much fuller course next year. And he tested out of 2 of his classes last week. And then he's got the highest grade in the school when it comes to Japanese. He is, and just, well, anything. He's made the president's, you know. Yeah, he's smart, super smart. And that's not me just bragging. Okay, so let's get back to our book. We'll do the front last. We've got 3 pages down. I don't know how much time we've been. That's why I try not to talk, because I got a big mouth and it can go on forever. So on this solid page over here, let me make sure. We're crooked, aren't we? Let me check it. I'm down below it, and it's hard to tell, you know, when you're crooked or straight. I kind of had to twist it a little bit. But all of my things are out of kilter. So we're going to do this beautiful tangerine floral over here on this side to make a page. But I didn't want this to be a flat page. I wanted whoever has it to have, you know. So I cut a 1 inch, and you go about a quarter to a half less than the height of your pocket. And then you fold in whatever you have on the inside is what's going to be seen on the outside. So I folded the nice side in, and I wanted it to match this. And so you want to glue it just like this. The white side in. I'll get it going here in a minute. I don't know if I'm doing that right. Let me look. Let me make sure. Or is it the other way? It's the other way. So I'm going to flip these over, because because I really do want that to show. Some of it I just did as I went here, hoping everything was like I wanted it. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to glue the hinges, is what I call them. I know they call them other things too, but I call them hinges. Make sure your paper's in the upright position, exactly how you want it, and then you just flip it over. So, I'm trying to remember if that's even right. It's probably not. I think I had it right. Isn't that terrible? This is going to have a hole when I get done here. Yeah, I think I have it right. Keep your fingers crossed. So you just glue the side to the inside of the pocket. Make sure your hinge is the right, right direction up. Just glue it on the one side. And then turn your print to the outside. And bring it up, right to the top, not over the top, and even with the side. So we're going to do that on both sides, okay? And we're going to glue this one down. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why aren't we gluing one on the bottom? Well, I don't do one on the bottom whenever I'm in a book like this. I'm going to set it here. Now, people can make these kind of books into albums or you can journal and add things as you go along to decorate. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Bring it all the way up. Keep your fingers crossed that I did this the right direction. Now, if you have glue back in here, you want to get it all off. Because it will, your items that you put in there might come apart. And you are going to put glue across the bottom where I left that little spot right there. And let me see if it's right. I don't know if it is or not, but I think it is. I think it is. I think it is. Okay, now we're going to put glue on the outside of both sides. Okay, on the white side here. I'm learning as we go along here. I don't make these every day. Just every once in a while when I just want to piddle, I'll either make a traveler's notebook insert, or I will do some of these. And I have a bunch. I've bought them at garage sales. Mostly, everyone I have is new, but I have bought them at garage sales. When they're brand new and in good condition, it's safe to do that. But they're just $1, so I figure I can spread myself thin enough that I can buy them. But you got to take into consider your paint, your glue, your paper, your glue, everything you use, your ink, all of that is, come on. I don't know why that decided to wait until it got way over there to drop off my... Okay. Now, line this up where you want it. And then I'm going to leave about a ½ inch on the bottom. And kind of, just eyeball it. You want to, get it as straight as possible. Let me hold it up and see. It looks straight enough. And so now, you want to make sure this glues across the bottom, because that's, does not have a hinge, but the sides do. And yes, I think I did them right. Make sure nothing's sticking in here. Now you gotta let this dry before you start putting stuff in it. Okay? Let it dry. You know, sometimes I just don't know. You know, you can do something one day and the next day you can't remember how you did it. But it's fun. It's fun, fun, fun. Okay, so I did use a trimmer, this little scallop punch. And I did use that on the ruffle to go across the page. Now, I could put it up here, but why would I do that? Oh, I actually like it up there. It's hard to say I would put it a little lower like this, but I think I do like it up there. So that's where it's going. And I'm going to do the same thing. Try not to get too close to the edge. I'm not worrying about going inside each little scallop, because that's just crazy. That's just crazy. But I would have done that once upon a time. You know, when you're learning, you don't always know these things, right? So try to hang on to your paper without getting glue everywhere. So that's what Elliot's doing. He is, I hope I'm not boring you guys, but I haven't talked to you guys in forever, so but I gotta tell you, the youngest one, Charlie. Now if you've watched my videos for very long, you know that we had a very sick grandbaby, and his name is Charlie. Charlie just turned 10 years old on St. Patrick's Day. Yes, he's one of those lucky little boys. But as you know it, he actually was not so lucky when he was little. He had a, got that all in there. So let me hold it up and show you what it looks like. Again, you want to make sure by running a pen or a pencil or something that's not going to tear your pages off. When it dries a little bit, you run it down in there and make sure it's, you know, everything's okay. So, I'm going to add a tab here at the top, right here and here. And it's going to be this little whale tail. I finally, after all these years, got my hands on a retired one. And you guys are not going to believe it. I just lucked out. You know how people always put their retired stuff on Facebook. And I just happened to open it. And I happened to be one of the first ones, I guess. And sure enough, there was one in there, and I grabbed it that very second. And the woman was not trying to rip anybody off. She actually only charged me $20 plus shipping. So I felt like I got a real bargain in that deal. And so this is going to kind of be let me get over here. I got a little bit too much, I think, right there. So I'm going to kind of lift it off with my finger. I don't want it spewing out everywhere. This is glitter glue that I'm using on these just because, you know, it just works better for me to use it that way. Okay, so since I have a stripe right here, I'm going to try to line this up with that stripe or somewhere thereabouts. And you want to look on the other side, make sure it's straight over here, and then you'll fold it over, tap it, and then you want to make sure it's straight from head on. These, I just love these little whale tails. So I used to buy the digital in these, and I could never get those things cut out right. So I just like, forget that. But anyway, I was lucky enough to get it for $20. Got it in like 3 or 4 days and was very pleased about that. Okay, so we'll come back and do all the pockets if we have time. Okay, which I'm hoping, because we're going to section number 2, which is the middle section. We've got page 3 that needs to go in right here, which is right here. So this one will be easier because, you know, it doesn't have a pocket. Let me put this up. Don't want this drying out for sure. These are boogers to get unplugged. I don't know if you realize that, but they are. Okay, come on. I kind of shake it down, you know, try to keep it down. And if you don't have to put it back up, sometimes I just lay it down instead of doing that, because it's lots easier to take a minute to shake it up. So I do still make little golden books, just only by custom order. And I will custom order pretty much any kind of book. But I'm only going to be putting compositions and different things on there, folios maybe, and because I've got 2 big Christmas books on there now that I did a year and a half ago. And, you know, I guess some people just want you to give it away, but it costs a lot to do those books, and I can't do that. So I have still 2 Christmas ones on there that I'll have to tell you, that snowman one is adorable. And so something for you to consider. I also have an attaché on there, and those things are really hard to make. And they do have a journal inside. They all have journals in them, so you just kind of have to. Now let's raise it up and see if we got it on there. We did. Woohoo, perfect. I guess the more you do, the better you get at it, huh? So I'm doing something a little different on the front of this one. So I hope you guys like it. Okay, so here is the little strip. It's kind of a pinkish, peaches, tangerine-ish. I don't know what it is, what color it is, but it's not just your typical mauve, or it's like it matches everything, the color it is pretty much, or pretty close. Now, I know right there a big blob came out, so I'm going to take that off. We're waiting on our printer has gone out. And you know, there's nothing I can print. I can't print anything in that situation. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's glue this down. Boy, I tell you, you do get glue on you. You know, let me see how much time we've been on here. Okay, we're coming up on an hour. So what I think is I'll do a second video. This is the halfway point. And so, I think we'll do stop right here and we'll do a video. Let's look back at our progress so far. And we'll have 2 videos for this particular one. I really worked hard getting all these done, and I don't want to have to rush through it for you. So, there it is, page 4. No, 3, page 3. We've got this inside cover, which is, you know, great. Then we've got page 1, page 2, page 3. Excuse me. There is a total of 6 pages. That's why I wanted to stop right there. So on the next one, we'll do 3 more pages and the inside and back cover. You know, I think I'll do 1 more page because we got the cover to do next time. And then after this page, we'll be done. Because I don't want to get, be so far back that you, let me see. This is page 4. Now I'll have to decide which one of these tabs to put on after I put this on. And we might not be able to decorate it, but we'll for sure try to get the page on. I just don't want to start having videos over an hour. And that's, you know, people don't watch your videos if they're even an hour. So I'm going to try to do smaller videos so we get more people watching. Don't know if it'll happen, but you just never know. So we got a black and white here. It's kind of a charcoal black. And it looks like it's going to fit on there fine. Page 4. We'll get that done. And then we'll put the tab on. And then we'll see what time it is at that point. I don't want to be too... I don't want people to hate me. So, if you like today's video, please give me a thumbs up. I mean, I'm not as worried about that as I once was because, you know, it's, it is what it is. Okay. Go around the corners. Don't forget to cover those corners. Little circles right there. And then you're going to do your X. And then I'm going to flip it over. And we're going to put it on the way we discovered is the best way by slipping it up this way. Can you see okay? Yes, you can. All right, so now we're going to do like we did before where we put the edge front or the side edge on first. Now, you got to watch your directions on your book too. Make sure you watch your directions. This paper, it doesn't really matter, but if you have an up-down type thing, you need to make sure you watch for the directions. Okay. So, no glue seeped out, which is a miracle. So we have this nice... I'm kind of alternating black items with pink or mauve or white. So, that's what my goal here is. So we know this side is ready. This side is showing a little bit of white along that edge. It's hard to get it in here perfect. It looks like, you know, we just covered pages, don't but really there's more to it than that. So we got it in the upright position. Now we're going to glue the little stripe pages, little stripes down the side. And then, come on. Okay, we'll start here in the middle, work our way up, work our way down. Try not to get it everywhere. Okay. Now, don't fall over and get glue all over me. Okay. So I told you about Elliot today and Charlie. I didn't finish with Charlie. You know, Charlie was very sick. Charlie is healed. And they said they didn't know if he ever would be, but he is healed right now. Now, it doesn't mean he can't, I don't know why that's a little shorter than it should be, but we'll go for it. He has his bone marrow transplant was successful. When he got out of the hospital, it was like 90 percentile that it was like it needed to be. I'm going to trim this right here because I got a little tall, if I can. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so he has to go back and forth every year, every 6 months, depending what was done at the previous or how he's doing. But Charlie is a champ. Okay, so we've got both sides of these, and we need to go ahead and add our, I think I'm going to do this instead of the stripe because it looks better from the other side. And so we're going to fold it real nice and flush. And glue it on. Let's see what happens. Okay. Now I'm going to lay this direction so we can make sure we get it in the center as best we can. So about there looks about right. I don't ever measure. I just, you know, hope for the best. Okay, this side we'll put on first. And unfortunately, it is going to cover. It is going to cover up a flower or part of a flower, but it is what it is, you guys. Sorry about that. Just how the paper fell. I don't know. That doesn't make sense either, does it? Okay, so we want to make sure this is straight before we glue it completely down. Make sure you want to do it pretty quick because, you know, it's hard to get these. I feel like it's hard to get these really straight. These little whale tails. So there's that. Let's close the book and see if it's straight. Oh, it is. It is. Okay. So I think we need to go, but let me finish my last bit on Charlie. We'll pick up on one of the other ones next time. And even my husband, I'll let you know what he's been up to. Charlie is healed. He has seen his bone marrow donor back when he was like out of the hospital, maybe 3 or 4 months. So he was still little, still sickly, but better. And so he got to see him again on spring break this year, 2023. And now he's 10. So the pictures were adorable. There was a cute picture of him and Corey is the guy who donated. he was bending down and talking to Charlie because he couldn't hear him. And because he's a pretty tall guy. He was 31 or 32 when he donated to Charlie, which is young. And I appreciate that so much. The thought of someone that young jumping in and taking care of a sweet little sick boy. So, there we go. All right. So, Charlie's doing great. He's in school. He's doing super great in school. He acts like a normal little boy, goes out, rides his bicycle, comes in all grungy and dirty, and plays with the little boy across the street. So he's doing great, and I could not be happier. So thank you guys for joining me today. We will do part 2, finish this up in the next video, and then after that, we'll get these books. Ignore the earlier date of April 1st and 2nd. We won't have them in by then. We're going to wait till the end of the second video to put them in the Etsy shop. All right, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Please give me a thumbs up if you're not a subscriber. I'm so glad you joined us today. But if you would love to subscribe, we'd love to have you. And yeah, so go out and have a great spring day. See you next time. Bye-bye.